All right. Today's video is going to be on the cold, hard truth about phone devices. Every single one of them. I don't care what brand it is. As long as it's a smartphone, it could be a smartphone, a smart TV. Um, Many of the even some household appliances. I'm gonna include this whole thing as a discussion about everything that these equipment that you would normally see that your day to day does, and exactly what it all is. This, the cell phone. The cell phone first was it all cell phones. I don't care which one it is has a backdoor option for these for the government to basically eavesdrop every single one of them. The only way for you to ever kick them out is to basically do a root uninstallation of the applications they are using to gather data, which is allowing them to access your device. Um, and this also means that you would have to stop using such applications as well. The applications you will want to stop using is both Google, Facebook, and you got to be careful what kind of internet is on your phone because if it's Microsoft, well, that's yet another backdoor. Um, Anything Google related, even if it's the Gmail that gives them a backdoor into your device, unless it's something that has high security, like they're dude. Even YouTube is no different. That's yet another backdoor. Okay. First off, Google owns YouTube. Google's been responsible for collecting countless amounts of facial recognition data for the government for quite some time. That's been happening, and they've been doing this with the camera that they so casually installed in the front of the smartphones, coming up with an excuse. Well, hey, look, you can easily take selfies with this. But little do you know, they were actually using it to get facial recognition data this whole time. The incident of that became widespread and well known when I believe his name is Mark Zuckerberg. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Now, a photo of him that was posted actually showed his laptop that the actual camera was covered with tape. So that went viral, and people saw that and started figuring out. Well, the government, clearly he knows something that a lot of other people don't know, and clearly other people start doing the same thing because it started to become quite obvious that that camera was actually put there for another reason. And it should be quite obvious to most of what that is, especially when Apple came up with that bogus article saying, "Hey, guys, if you put tape over your camera lens, it'll actually damage the device." Basically, I guess they're trying to say that if they catch you putting tape over your camera lens, they're gonna basically just fuck up your device remotely, pretty much. In most cases, for a target individual, it really defeats the purpose of these individuals to really do that. The only time they ever did damage a phone of mine, like ever, was because I caught evidence that they did not want me to have. Basically, they do not want you to ever have video footage of catching people running around with directed energy handheld weapons. They will never ever want something like that in your possession ever, because that actually opens the door to a whole nother scenario that exposes the illegal experimentation that's going on. Think about it. Your claims would be, viewed as undeniably valid, and of course, they're undeniably valid. But you know the game that they play, the deception that they use. Um, in regards to this, basically, the phone is an entire is a device that's designed for all experimental purposes on the human population. That's just the low um, down truth of what it is. The smartphone has been designed, even phones, not specifically the original phones where you weren't able to go on internet and you were not able to do any of that stuff at all. I'm talking about the ones that did not have internet. Just the ones that had just a wireless connection where you can just make calls. That's it. Those ones, well, they would bug them and basically try to hack into them and just use them as listening devices. That was as much as they could do with that. And even still, they were able to somewhat hack into the cameras, but I don't believe they were able to do this with every single one. Maybe they were, who knows? But they can only see so much from the back camera, which is why they added a front camera. Um, and the end result, basically, as long as you don't have any tape on your phone, they get the whole blueprint of your entire home. They make the phone in. You ever notice how excessively addictive they make these devices? That's a program. That's a damn program. Um, there was a guy, and I did mention this before, but I'll mention it again. There was a guy who actually had a EMF meter, and each time like he would do a specific function with his phone, the EMF levels on his frequency meter would basically skyrocket into huge amounts that are very unsafe. Um, I'm still not familiar with dead tone technology, but that was another thing that Zacchaeus had mentioned, that basically all cell phones of any kind uses. It all uses the cell phone, dead tone technology, and basically that's the frequency. I think he may have said that that was supposed to be the frequency of death or something like that. I don't know. I don't know, but I believe that the cell phones are doing a heck of a lot more harm than good, in my opinion. You got to deal with the fact that this thing generates radiation out from its surface. I did put like 2 radiational stickers on mine, as just to try to slow down its effects, and I even got the app Innate State to also help out with that as well. But also, as well as there are apps that can basically help out with this stuff. It's still these apps are still managed and owned by Google. That's just the problem. Google's the enemy, you know. So I have no clue why they would leave these apps out there, because like it's just like I mentioned before, the other stuff they didn't really mess with, but Droid Watcher they did mess with, you know. And I don't know if if they just switched it to where you get an upgrade and you get that function back. I don't know. Most of you who heard my previous video already know what I'm talking about, so I'm not gonna go too far into that. Um, the other thing about the phones, uh, you know, if you look under your apps and then you go to your system apps, you'll see, you basically, let's say you uninstalled Facebook, right? Wrong. You didn't uninstall it at all. This is why you got to do a root, uninstallation in order to officially get it off. It doesn't completely take it off. As soon as you do like a factory base reset, it puts it back on. But it just takes the apps that you do not wish to use on your device at this current, for that current time, basically. Um, there are other, app stores you could use. Aptoid is one option, but you must be careful. But there's a benefit and then there's a non-benefit to using that. First off, some of their apps can be, are from, ones that you would have to allow to install because it's not from the official Google Play Store. The benefit from that is the fact that you can actually get older versions of a specific app you're looking for. Each and every single update it has, you can get that older version that may have had a function that you still needed. So that's one thing to also keep in mind of. The bad side is that some of these applications can be fake. Some of them can very well be viruses, but unfortunately, there are users who do leave feedback about this stuff that goes on. So there are other people leaving feedback about it. If you do so happens to, if you do decided to go that route, there is another option where you can do. All you got to do is basically just do a factory-based reset. It immediately takes any type of commercial-based apps off the phone, therefore cleaning it and restoring it back to its factory-based condition. Um, Now, there's other stuff in regards to this. Like I said, in a systems app, if you see, the Facebook basically has 2 applications that doesn't even give you the option to uninstall unless you do a root installation to get rid of it. That's not even half of it. Everything dealing with Amazon, everything dealing with Google, all of it is part of the Beast system. YouTube, Google, all of it. Every single bit. They are constantly recording everything that you say, everything that they hear through your device. They're constantly waiting to see if they can get any type of video footage through that camera lens of yours. This in regards to whether you go to the bathroom, whether you go to your kitchen, your bedroom, you're sleeping. I don't recommend anybody sleep in the same room with their phone, by the way. Not with this frequency stuff that's basically coming through. Because think about it, if they're constantly, sending and receiving signals from your device, that's big. That's still EMF frequencies that you're still around. That's not healthy. Um, let's talk about the microwave before I go over to the smart TVs. The microwave was designed to basically do what? Heat up food with radiation, right? Now, the stuff that they lace on TIs when they try to drug us is a type of fungus. The stuff that they spray into these chemtrails is a type of fungus. All of it's basically a type of fungus that's mixed with nanobots. Now, what happens when you put fungus under high effects of radiation? It causes that fungus to rapidly grow. The same fungus is the same thing that forms the biofilm. So basically, once they get it in your home, you makes you wonder why they keep bombarding your home with radiation. That's why. And think about it. You could basically because this stuff grows such rapidly and it's growing basically everywhere. Once it's in your home, and the thing about this is, all you have to do to get it to they put more of an active substance to just to have more of a potent substance in there, which is what they did to my apartment unit. So get this: every time I detoxed, the minute I stepped out of wherever I was detoxing, even when I showered off too, the minute I stepped on the floor, guess what that meant? Because the stuff was growing everywhere. It was growing from the floor to the wall to the ceiling to whatever else was in the room, whatever else was in the apartment. That's how bad it is. That's why I don't even think it's even possible to officially detox and get this stuff completely out of your system. As long, and maybe if you do what I did, basically, I knew that was the case, so I got like a humidifier or something like that, and then I put stuff in there along. I made a mixture with the water that it was using through the filter, and I made certain that that water that was being put into the oxygen had the properties to kill the fungus off, basically. I don't believe I ever used water from the sink. That's that has fluoride in it. I don't need fluoride in the oxygen. That's just bad. Um, let's see what else. It was the microwave. But anyway, as you know, the microwave, whatever food you're heating up in there and you're about to eat, technically that food, it has radiation in it and on it or whatever. So by you consuming that, what do you think that's gonna do? And you're a TI, you're laced with nano and the fungus. Basically, that's what's gonna cause yourself to just keep have it's going to help the nano just keep reproducing because you're giving it a substance of radiation. You're giving it that substance that it needs to basically rapidly grow the fungus. So don't eat anything out of a microwave. um the other thing, what else? The smart TVs, Project Bluebeam that I was talking about before, that has that blue hue. The only way I don't even know if they even have a blue screen filter for that. Most TVs probably do, but you definitely want to have the yellow hue, not the blue hue, because the blue hue, Project Bluebeam, is designed to basically program the nano, or at least help it program, because they put this in LED lights too. When you go to the supermarkets, that's why they always use LED lights. When you see these cars pass by, why do you think they always got LED lights basically showing up? That's why. No type of yellow light I don't believe any kind of yellow light at all is capable of doing this. No, it's got to be, if anything, that has more of a yellow. As long as it has a yellow hue, it's going to basically help deprogram that crap. So, in the stores, they always use these LED lights. The LEDs is definitely for the programming. Dude, this stuff is so damn sinister. I could go on and on about many different things that I believe is all nothing more than a experiment thing that's going on. Now then, I want fellow TIs to think about this for a second, because this guy, some of you may have heard of him. I don't agree with some of the stuff he said in his videos, but I still think that I think they were experimenting on this dude. I really think they were. You may have heard of the name, Etika, one of the famous YouTubers that were out there. I looked at the behavioral patterns on some of the stuff that was talked about. First, everything seemed to be calm, like, right? But then after a while, it seemed to be like very mixed. Now, here's the issue: there were emotions of both suicide and emotions of both anger coming from this guy. And one of the things that happened to him, he said, basically his, I think it was his Twitter account or something that got banned, and they said, well, like he was posting, pornography or something, right? But he said it was, it was hacked. They said it was hacked. So something else gets posted, and it's in regards of a suicide, right? So I'm like, hold up. Us fellow TIs know exactly what these bastards are capable of. We know what they do. So, was it really him that wrote that? Or was it somebody else that wrote that? And people knew about it, but they were told to keep hush about it. People who were closest to him knew about it, but they were told not to talk about it. Right? They were paid off. They were silenced. They were threatened. Could that have been what happened? Let's count the number of consistencies of things that got involved. First off, the SWAT team got involved, so the government had a hand in this. The mental ward was also involved too. And shortly after all of that, this guy just so happens to just commit suicide off the bridge. Are you serious? The freaking mental health wards have been used for experimentational purposes. The high schools have been used for experimentational purposes. Damn near every school has been used for experimentation. It's not necessarily you becoming knowledgeable. Basically, what it is that they're just telling you to learn something. They're telling you to basically just absorb this knowledge as if like that's actual knowledge that's gonna really, you know, that's to be learned. But think about it. This is the same concept that has been going on for quite some time. How do we really know that this is actually how things truly work? It's one thing, if you have your own individual research to back things up, to actually back up the theory. But let's analyze everything that's been going on too. By the way, the reason why I brought up Betica is because I believe some of these famous YouTubers, I think they're experimenting on them, even if they don't know about it. And I bet you some of them probably do know that this is going on too. I bet. I seriously bet. Because think about it. Look at what's going on with these celebrities. Look at what's going on with these, these singers, these singers, these movie actors, these people who act out in shows. You seem to see some kind of experimentational stuff going on with them. Think about it. Why do you think Google wanted to buy YouTube? Why do you think they wanted to do that? The same company that's responsible for collecting AI data, but not AI data, but facial recognition data. Really think about that. The man, dude. Let's see what else. I've already went over cell phones. I went over smart not smartphone. I went over regular phones, smartphones, TVs. What else? Microwaves. There's more. Now the smart meters. I haven't did a lot of research on this, but based on from what I've seen and some of the things that I've realized, there were some that did catch on fire, a while back when they were first implemented. There was that. Then there's also the other research that implies that and shows that these things basically give off a huge amounts of radiation, but not just that, but also the fact that it gives the power companies the capability of telling exactly which room you're mostly using power in. So really think about that. Wherever you're using the most power in like a house or somewhere, That means they know that you're basically in that room the majority of, depending on how much power was used, they can, basically, deduct how much, they could basically do the math and see how much time was used in that room to see, well, this is where this particular person actually spends, most of their time. So there's that. Um, there's actually a whole lot more to these smart meters than people know. The way I see it, I think we could have just easily, did good without that. But also, this was also involved with greed too. You best believe that this whole mess was involved with greed. And it seems like the more and more years pass, it seems like the more and more jobs disappear. Has anyone else noticed that? More and more jobs start to disappear, and I don't mean just any jobs. I'm talking about like a lot of the physical labor jobs that used to be around. They got robots making cars now, but it used to be the people making the cars. And then they want to know why there's so many people out there in the home, who are homeless. It's all the damn corporations that are selfish. They want to be so. They just want to be able to, get free labor, make plenty of money, not being able to, not having to pay, pay very less into the community, and then just profit off that same community. That it's, you see how that works. The corporations don't want to give anything into the communities, dude. They don't want to do that. They don't want to hire people to where they can basically feed their families. No, they just want to take your money. They don't want to give you no money at all. They don't. They only want to pay the minimal amount of people they need in order to make sure things go smoothly, and not to have a full, a service to where they actually would have to hire an actual crew to really build these cars up. Dude, all this technology that has been advancing has been doing nothing but just stealing the jobs away from the market. There's been so many people who have been out of jobs as a result. Whatever happened to the times where it was so damn easy to get a job, to where, it wasn't getting a job. It wasn't getting a job that was a problem. It was just the fact that, you had to have the will and be able to willing to get up and go to do the job. That's all that counts. And it was so easy to get one. You didn't even have to do a damn interview, or you didn't even have to sign no damn resume. You think that's bad enough? No, it gets worse. They fixed this situation to where you have to basically be known. The government has to actually give for. I forgot exactly what it is, but some of you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. The government has to, if you're getting a job somewhere, the government has to know about it. They fixed it to where they have to know, exactly where you're working at and who you're working for. They fixed it up like that. Why? Why? Why would they care about where, as long as you're paying, I mean, you're not really required to, it'll tell you you're required to pay taxes, even though you're not. But why is it so important for them to know exactly where you're working at and who you're working for? Why is that so important? Why? That's a really good question, isn't it? I tell you why. It's for control. Every single thing that they've been doing, and you want to know why the real reason why they begin really these very small jobs out there? Simple. They wanted to get rid of the jobs to where they didn't have to, hire. They didn't have to basically have anybody to, basically sign a damn resume and sign the paperwork just to do the damn job. There were jobs people didn't have to do any of that, and they could just basically just start work. As long as they keep showing up, they kept making money. They wanted to get rid of those jobs to keep, to continue to keep having people go into the system. They wanted to also fix the situation up to where they take away your job. They basically, they take away everybody's rights, ability to work and provide for their family, which is what they did this year, right? Did they not do that? Did they not tell you to stay up, stay put in your home? Did they not say that? And did people do it? Let's talk about the whole fact of the situation with the cash and the fact that some change machines were missing. think about what that really does. It's a trick to get you to use a debit card, a traceable card. Everything that has been happening intentionally. Every single bit of it. All of this stuff has been controlled, structured the way it has been, in hopes. And I'm telling you, TI's our worst enemy is the damn cell phone. That's just the truth. This thing's constantly, but as you know, we use this technology, even if it does us, does us harm, right? Which it does. We use this technology to stay in communications with one another, and we also use it to try to spread the word out. So in it, all this information out to help other people. The system that basically depends on you being obsessed with a phone, though. It's the phone that basically helps them calibrate the systems when they basically are tracking you. It's the phone that actually helps them track you. It's the phone and the social media, the way that I'm telling you, social media was, you may think that it was an actual person, who, just a regular Joe who just created these social media sites. Bullshit. That stuff was developed by the CIA. A lot of these platforms were developed by the CIA. Whoever face they put on there, that's just the fall man. Okay? That's just the fall person. That dude did not develop that crap. No. They have a team who does develop this stuff, and I'm telling you right now, every type of social media platform you can possibly think of, I don't care where it is or where it's from, unless it's something from somebody who really get pissed off by the system. But you never know, because how do you not know if they didn't try to pay that person off? Or how do if they couldn't pay him off, how do you not know they didn't execute the guy and have somebody else pose as him? How do you not know that? It's a very difficult thing out there, and that's one of the things that QAnon is doing, man. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but it's basically bringing up saying, hey, all these people who we thought were once dead are actually still alive. Michael Jackson's still alive. All these other people, even John F. Kennedy Jr. still alive. All of this stuff. But let's be honest here, cloning technology exists. It does. Cloning technology exists, okay? It does, without a doubt. I say this because I've seen a video, and I'm gonna find that motherfucker too. I'm gonna find it because what it showed, they actually freaking showed this, that cloning technology exists. The video that I remember seeing, and this again, it's a video. It was a plastic synthetic like uterus that was made. The animal that they had in there, I think it was like either a calf or a goat or something that was in there. But dude, the freaking goat was growing in that damn synthetic womb. That's an animal. That's an animal that they're growing in a damn synthetic womb. And I don't even know if I can legitimately call that an animal, because that damn thing's been manufactured. It's not going through the natural processes as God intended it to. That's something different. Way different. That's not natural at all. I guarantee you, if you guys try to search for that, you definitely will find it. But man, dude, man, it had something to do with them being at at the fetal stage, and then after that point, like I don't know if they removed it. I don't even think that's even possible to remove a fetus into one womb and put it into another for it to continue to grow. I just don't believe that. I think like once you cut, because they only, they have to constantly feed off the nutrients in order to grow. Like doing something like that would interfere with that, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. But yeah, dude. What if I find the video? I'm gonna show you guys that vid. I swear that's the next thing on my to do list, is to find that video, because that in particular, that was one of the eye openers, especially You know, you see something way back then, and then you basically get more info about it. There's several people talking about it later on, and you're like, no freaking way, dude. No way. Um, what's that? Cloaking? Cloaking technology also exists. It does. First off, some people saying, nah, it don't exist. Okay, smart guy. Let me tell you something. Look at your cell phone, right? Look at your cell phone. Do you not have two cameras on your phone, right? One in the back and one in the front. Now, what does the front camera do? Think about it. Now, also remember this, because you can search for this crap. They have transparent phones and transparent TVs, okay? That exists. So think about it. Really think about it. They have transparent devices, and they have phones that basically can project what's behind it on its front screen, right? What if they had two LED screens on the phone and it didn't have an actual back, but it still had cameras built in? Whatever was being projected on the front is showed on the back. Whatever's being projected on the back from its camera lens is being projected on the front. Now, with that concept, if you weren't aware that that thing was around, something like that was around in your presence, how would you know where side is its back and what side is its front? How would you even know? And the truth is, you wouldn't know. You would not know at all. They're being very slick with this crap on how much they're basically bringing out, but they're doing it slowly but surely, man. So again, it could be something right in front of you that may look like it's, that nothing's there, but you'd be mistaken. You may think there's nothing there, but that's just what they want you to think. In case you're wondering, there are ways to undo such a thing, such as EMPs, but it makes you wonder, why did they make EMPs illegal? And I'm not talking about the actual device people were using to kill an animal off. No, I'm talking about the actual EMPs that'll turn an entire city off. Basically, that kind of EMP. They didn't want people tamper. I don't even believe they want even nobody tampering. Now, I'm not saying I will build the damn thing, but I do have the capabilities of doing so. But I will, I'm not doing that. No. But if I do have the expertise to build such a thing. The thing about that though is that something like that is actually a threat to a really big threat to their technology. First off, they won't be able to, communicate with the gang stalkers, the foot patrol soldiers that they hire. There won't be no communication with them because, well, you got the interference of the EMP. I bought a freaking generator because, the fact that there was a lot of talk going around of people saying, well, there's a huge chance that they're gonna actually start messing with the power grid. And I saw the Homeless King James channel. I saw his channel, and what he was showing was that his whole city was blacked out. Everywhere it was completely blacked out. He didn't have like another video uploaded until like around maybe like 1 or 2 weeks later, and I'm guessing his battery must have, hit the battery of his phone must have ran out, and he probably didn't want to use the power in his car. I can't really blame the guy for that because, well, that I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. I really don't. But yeah, man. That after seeing that, that's when I invested into both a solar panel and a generator because of that, just to be on the safe side. I don't even know if those things can even be affected by an EMP. I have no idea at all. Most things that can basically anything that can basically survive The only way something can survive, any type of electronic equipment can survive an EMP attack, is something that is, basically plated with copper. Let's say like you get a copper, a huge copper container that's like triple coated, or even double coated. Doesn't matter how many layers it has, as long as it's got more than one. Um, that'll allow you to protect your equipment, basically. And first off, some people were speculating, well, what if they, start shutting off the internet or whatever? They're not gonna do that. That would think about it. That would defeat the whole purpose, man. First off, they would, if anything, the only way they would do that is if, if it would, if the internet became an immediate threat to their operations. It kind of is, but not as enough for them to really go that far. First off, they rely on basically everybody. If you watching YouTube, man, I'm telling you, your YouTube watch history, they keep everybody who is officially on their hit list, anybody who basically, they want to monitor or control or basically program. I believe that they're basically getting a whole list of our videos that we've watched, not just even through the hacking, just through the apps in general. Because think about it, administrative privileges actually gives you more capabilities than anything else would. So I know a lot of people use this stuff, but I still felt the need to at least let everybody know, the stuff that you did. Most TIs know about this already. Most do, but it's good to also either get a refresher or a reminder, because there's with all this manipulation, they do cause you to forget things, and I know because I have experienced that myself. I don't know if it's some type of memory wipe, but I tend to think it's best to like have a small booklet, write the important stuff down in that booklet, but you better make sure you take damn good care of that, because chances are they might try to screw around with you to get you to even forget that. One thing that I've been using lately to detox this stuff out of my system is activated charcoal. I did two things with it. I took several doses of it, and it seemed to have a significant effect on detoxing the nano, a heck of a lot of stuff like that. So I was curious if maybe if I applied some to the skin, since the skin is an organ, if it would also have an effect, because I was basically getting zapped somewhere, and surprisingly enough, it worked. The nano that was there basically left. It didn't want nothing to do with that area anymore. Not gonna say precisely where, because well, they're listening in onto this video even as I speak. Um, so activated charcoal definitely is a good thing, but again, you can't trust anything that just be careful out there, because look, man, anything can be intercepted. Okay, anything that's ordered over the internet can be intercepted. Anything that you try to get from any of these services can be messed with, and they can probably try to make it look like nothing really happened with it. I've seen through a lot of that deception, and it hasn't worked at all. For starters, at my old job, there was some things that I used to always eat that was in that little lunch area that they let you use the card for. They'll give you like this little lunch card, and they'll just charge the amount of how much food you basically took out with that card out of your out of your weekly paycheck. So what happened was, I just so happened to notice that there were holes poked into certain various items that were in these refrigerators. They just so happened to have, I understand why they got cameras in there, but this it really was just becoming too obvious. These perpetrators who do this are blind sheep. They have absolutely no idea the punishment they're going to receive for their actions. And the devil doesn't give two craps about any of it, because they're the ones who are going to have to answer for every misdeed that they have done. Every single one. It's getting there. With every passing day, we are getting close to the day to where they will be judged. But it's up to us not to allow them to take us down with them, basically. This is why evil has become as desperate as it is now, because its time is running out. Their reign of terror is going to soon come to an end. It truly is. Don't ever lose hope, because remember, and look at how much you've endured. That's what you really got to look at. Look at how much you've endured, yet you are still standing strong and tall even now. All of us are. You have endured so much, gone through so much pain. There have been tears that were shed. There were times where you got, really tortured, really severely tortured. The burns, the itching, the constant drugging, the slanderers, and the gas, what's that? The workplace mobbing, the freaking gaslighting that happens in public. All of this stuff that they have done to try to destroy you, but you are still standing tall and strong. You are still here standing damn strong. All of you are. I am truly proud of every single target individual out there who has fought and that, have basically got out of their way to bring any type of good information to help other fellow TIs and to also help inform the public of really what's going on. I am damn proud of all of you. I truly am. If nobody else has ever told you this, you're hearing it first from me. I am damn proud of all of you. I truly am. All of us got to be careful, though, because of these frequencies that seek to program us, to turn us into individuals that we are not, to basically try to inject a mentality that is not ours. This is what I was talking about when I said that peer pressure basically is a psyop. The peer pressure in schools is they basically do this with kids, so they've been programming kids from the start. This has clearly been happening just because of peer pressure alone. The thing is designed to basically mess with your self-esteem, mess with your self in the dependence, and they treat the situation as if like the only way for them to accept you, right, is if you basically follow through with the dynamic that they are doing. Now, what's the dynamic? It could be anything from as far as buying designer clothing to match with other people, or to have the same type of name brand thing. But when you look at these name brands and you start looking at through a lot of the loopholes, a lot of the connections, you start to realize that there's a lot of satanic symbolism with a lot of these clothing lines. Now, no offense, everybody, but look, it's up to you, but I would not recommend anybody wearing anything that's name brand. Not what I've been seeing, because I've been seeing that a lot of this stuff has been mentioned to have a lot of satanic meaning to it, a lot of satanic symbolism. Jordan, such as basically in the same designer fashion as a damn triangle. If you hadn't noticed that before, the fact that they got the two legs sprouted out, the fact that his arm just so happened to be etched out in that type of way. It's not etched out all the way. It'd be different if it was like really high up, etched out towards his back, but that's not the case. It's slanted down to also go into the same proportions as one of his legs. So it's still in the triangle like fashion. Adidas, another triangle. What else? Nike, basically the check mark, which is also related to one of the rings around Saturn, such as a check mark implying that they have control of your soul. You think the situation stops there? No, there's a hell of a lot more that you don't know about. The whole names of the days. That's yet another satanic meaning. And the satanic meaning behind that is in each and every day, I believe it's like the first letter of these days of the week is in representation of these demonic demons who they worship. That's why I've been kind of thinking of maybe just coming out with my own damn calendar that doesn't bear the meaning of these bastards. But you see, This is why I say don't, really deprogram yourself from this. Don't use their meaning behind this crap. Don't. You don't have to do that. Just like when they with the Freemasons, blood for them to them basically red means blood sacrifice, blue means the color of war. I changed that crap, and those their meanings, but they're not my meanings. I view red as the color of love, and I view blue as the color of freedom. I'm not putting these satanic meanings behind it because I refuse to ever make a damn contract with Satan in any damn way. Anything I had that was name brand, I threw in the garbage. And I don't ever intend on buying anything like that again. Ever. What other brand could actually have a damn near almost any other thing that's name brand, well known, that's very well expensive and very high bought from the masses, very well has a satanic meaning behind it. And also think about it from this perspective. You got the people who play the sports, and if you start researching that, you start to find out some of these people who are playing sports are actually throwing up satanic symbols. That has actually been caught on film. Not just people who are in sports, people in the music industry, the movie industry, these shows, you name it. They've been all in all of these places doing this, and it really starts to make a lot of sense that clearly something ain't right with this picture here. Something clearly is going on that they're not showing you. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, is where the documentary called Out of Shadows fits into this dynamic. Simply because they're telling you exactly what's going on that you're not seeing. And the truth is, the CIA, the government, has been putting a lot of programming, subliminal messaging. You've already seen a lot of that with Disney, if you do the research for it. You'll see a lot of subliminal messaging with Disney. I do not recommend anybody to have their kids watching or dealing anything with Disney. The situation with Amazon, I don't even recommend people to even use that. But we have to use the system in order to basically fill a need of something in order for us to help others out, even if it means to research or to help ourselves out. It's a very difficult concept and a very difficult situation. I know, I really know, and I get it. It's not easy. Um, the phone companies are very well involved with target individuals. Cell phone companies, any type of internet service provider, they're constantly giving off, sending this data and sharing it with the government all the time. It's best to always use a VPN, but use a trusted VPN, not one that's untrusted. But nowadays, can we really trust any of the crap that's been put out there at all? And the only thing I can think of is, look, man, anything dealing with the system has some type of way of working for the system. It could be something that gives off the illusion that is being 100% protective, but in reality, they're the ones who are managing it. You know? So they could have people hired to basically try to penetrate through a firewall, but they're managing that firewall. But as an end result of the managing the firewall, they still have access to whatever stuff they want to get their hands on. So it's the deception around every corner, no matter how you look at it, man. Which is why the solution is never going to come from the government. It's going to come from the people. But the thing we need to deal with now is to put a damn stop to this deception, put a damn stop to this inner corruption, and put a stop to all of this sleepiness this plague of sleepiness that has been going around in these neighborhoods, in these states, all around the world. We need to put a stop to that, and everybody needs to wake the hell up as soon as possible to actually figure out, so we all know what's going on. But greed is a hell of a thing. Corruption is a hell of a thing. And that's been some of the major problems that we've been dealing with. People who are being threatened to not speak out to the point to where they got no choice but to speak out now, man. It's definitely gotten to that point because if they don't speak out, whatever information they did know never comes to the light, never sees the light of day, where does that leave the rest of us, I honestly believe some of them are at that point, but at the same time, you probably most likely got some people who are in these positions that have absolutely no idea that this stuff is even going on. So, um, as an end result, the whole thing is basically obviously a psyop tactic when it comes to what's happening to TIs that they use. They use the deception to make it seem like, you're either mentally ill or schizophrenic. And, they utilize the consistencies with what they're doing because, from any other type of ordinary person who may not be most likely not involved, they're not going to see it that way because they're only going to see it from a first person views perspective, meaning they're only just now seeing what's happening. They didn't see that these things were being perpetuated each and every time throughout your day. Every time you were leaving the house, every time you were coming back to the house, every time you went to the store, every time you went to work. They don't see that. This is where camera glasses comes in, but from what Brian too was talking about, he said they can basically do something to screw with the battery or something. I don't know. I don't know. That has yet to happen to me at all. Actually, I've gotten all my footage as far as I'm concerned, and it definitely came out in HD. Um, I mean, if anything, if that is really the case, there is another thing you'll probably do. Maybe like coat something around the battery location to where it block out frequencies and stuff. Because like it doesn't necessarily have. You don't want something that just connects to the net. You don't want anything like that because anything that has a connection to the network that gives them backdoor into its systems. They get into the systems. They f up the systems to basically manipulate the device and to create these loopholes to basically mess with the device, therefore messing with you. Do not be worried about no damn collateral. Don't, because in the end, whatever when in the end, man, the only thing that really matters is your health. That's the biggest thing right there. Any type of electronic device, any type of collateral stuff, that crap can be replaced, but you cannot. There's only one you, and don't ever, and I do mean don't ever let them try to basically replace you with this damn um, AI technology. Stand your ground. Stand your damn ground. Don't let this technology rule over you. Don't let it invade your body. Don't let it invade your mind. You best do everything you damn well can to fight against this for the sake of both you and your family, for those who you care for. But in most cases, a lot of TIs, in most cases, when it comes to the situation, we do have ourselves. But at the end, we're not alone. There's plenty of us that are going through the same thing. Plenty of us. I still say that there's way too many people going through this for this to be, not any for the people to continue to use the same playing card. Oh, well, that person's just, mentally ill. They have outweighed that excuse way too long. It's past the point to where it's pretty obvious that that's clearly a lie. Ain't nobody mentally ill but the people who are calling other people mentally ill, and it's all for corruption, for greed. And the reason why they're mentally ill is because of how wicked they are. It's because of the amount of selfishness that comes from them. It's because the amount of corruption that they allow to be perpetuated by themselves. It's the fact that they allow themselves to be both manipulated, bought off, and used as the government sees fit. I would love to find myself a woman. I truly would love to do that, even though I'm a MGTOW. But I don't want to, I don't ever want to bring kids into a world like this. That's a complete out of the question thing for me right there. There's no discussion of there's no debate or discussion about that. That's the thing that's completely out of the question with me. Um, but at the same time, I know better. I know way too better, and I can easily sense deception when it happens. I don't know why. Maybe it was because of my mother teaching me that stuff about this. Maybe it was. I don't know. But like once you start to learn the characteristics and the patternization of it, you start to really be able to tell the difference based on how people act and how people respond to you. It starts to become quite obvious. Which is another, which is what I was talking about. Why TIs also got to be careful and they deprogram themselves because for all you know, they'll probably be trying to use you to basically sign up, another TI. And That's what you got to be careful about. Now, whether this has happened or not, I know I believe they did try this towards me because of the statement I was told about about a specific Ti and what he was going through, and something I was able to feel exactly what they were trying to do. I refused to do it, but the fact is that they were still trying to cause that to happen. You see where I'm getting at? Let's say they were let's say I'm not gonna say anything specific because again they still listening in on this. But let's say they did, these perps are doing something, and then you meet another Ti, and all of a sudden that Ti does something that's related to the targeting, but that Ti had no idea that that was in regards to that, and even after you are told, like these basically, if you have nanotech in your systems, they can basically utilize this technology to go to a specific part of the body to cause a specific reaction. This is why it's imperative to get this stuff out of your system. I don't judge a person like that because I know better. I know what this tech. I'm very well known what this technology has done, but I don't know the full. I'm just I'm no different than most of you. I'm still in the dark of this myself. I don't know the full capabilities of this stuff. I only know just bits and pieces, just like everybody else. This stuff is has capabilities that we still probably aren't even aware about, that they won't even discuss or even disclose. Remember, any information that comes out has been it's been intentional. And if there was information they didn't want to they didn't want to come out, then whoever did make sure that information got out ended up dead. This was the case when it came to the what was that? The random number generator. The guy who basically blurted that out ended up dead by a train. But basically, via train. He even told the dude who he basically told this to. He even said that they were gonna get him because of that, and he wasn't joking. Um, I know when it comes to TIs, the targeting experience is different for each one. It is somewhat different. I don't believe God is. I believe God truly does understand our situation. We didn't ask for this. None of us did. Nobody did. This was just an unfortunate circumstances that was forced upon us by wicked individuals with way too much power and way too much money and way too much time on their hands. They do this stuff for entertainment purposes. They screw with you for entertainment purposes. If you look back at history and they're talking about Rome, and this is if that's legit history. They basically go as far as where Caesar was existence and all that type of stuff, and how they had people in the lions in the lions pit basically fighting for their life. To the warriors, to the people in the non-warriors, that was them fighting for their lives and honor. To the people in the crowd, and as well as the person who ordered the whole event to happen, that was entertainment to them. So considering that there's a history behind that kind of thing, it doesn't surprise me that there's also stuff as far as entertainment when it comes to something as twisted as this that we go through. This crap is entertaining for them to basically just laugh it up, to just get off of. It makes me wonder how they would fare under the same circumstances. You take away the money, you take away the protection, you take away the fact that they hide their identities, you take away all of that, and you put them under the same exact circumstances and ask them, how do you like it? It's not such a funny thing, is it? When it basically, when the reverse happens. But even still, I would never wish this thing to happen to anybody, ever. No one deserves this. No one does. I will warn you guys, because I have done this before. Be careful if you ever give a narcissist a taste of their own medicine, because they let, well, let's just say they'll get like extremely pissed off, and it's very unreasonable how they get pissed off. But this individual who I did piss off ways back, he would he would talk trash behind people's back all the time. He would, and he would do this in front of people. Yeah, he would do this in front of other people a lot. He would say a lot of negative comments under his breath. I'm not going to give no names on who this person is. And he would act as if nothing happened later on. It wasn't just him that was doing this shit, though. There was another guy. And at the time, I couldn't figure out, like, what the hell was it, right? I couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't figure any of it out. But as soon as I started to catch on to it, it started to make sense. Now, the guy who I first mentioned, I'm not talking about him, but now I'm mentioning this other guy. He would do a lot of stuff that was related to what a gang stalker would do, right? A lot of the gaslighting. And as soon as I got to the point of being uncomfortable around the guy, he would try to act as if like, well, like nothing's wrong, everything's fine, and like, why can't we just be friends? All friends and crap like that, right? And I'm like, dude, no. You may think that crap's okay, but I don't. And I'm not even finna to even bother discussing it with you, because why? I knew it was bullshit to try. I knew it was. It was pointless to basically have have an honest to God discussion with a damn narcissist. It's just not gonna work. The way they view things is that it's either their way or the highway. That's just it with them. There's no debate. There's no It's to them. It's like they're never wrong. Like everything with them is just right. And I even used that against the narcissist once before, and I basically told them, I'm not gonna say who this was, but they were ready. It was so damn funny because it was true. It was true. I've said, something, something. Even if their argument was logical, they can never. I said this exactly as I'm about to say it now. They cannot stand the very idea of ever being wrong. They cannot even stand the idea of ever being wrong. That they got to make damn certain and go overboard and make damn certain that everything that they say is right. It isn't to a point to where they're just trying to be just not just even in defense or just just to be saying it. No, it's not even about that. That is a superiority complex right there. And well, not like a superiority, but like a superior complex type of thing, disorder type of thing, where like they have to they have to always go the extra mile to be right about every single thing. Like if they were ever wrong, they would have a complete hissy fit about it, basically, something like that. But I'm not gonna go too far into that discussion. That's something else. But anyway, so it was like that with those other two individuals, and eventually I just started, just keeping to myself, and eventually I got to the point where I didn't even want to be around those people anymore. When I unfortunately had to do, no, I'm not even gonna mention that, because then that's basically making it obvious who they are. So no, I'm not gonna say that. But anyway, they would do a lot of this stuff, so eventually I just started to avoid them altogether. But that only did so much, and then it started to make sense as soon as some things changed. I'm not saying precisely what it was. One of them just so happened to make sure that this behavior was continued elsewhere. Fellow TIs, if you ever change an area, you better be, have eyes like a hawk, because I'm telling you, I've caught this twice, and they did it. They did it in my damn presence too. I've caught scenarios to where there were two guys, in two different locations, in two different circumstances, in different areas, if I didn't say that already, to where they walked up to somebody and said it clear as day. Either, be careful about this guy because he's either crazy, or just, I'll pay you some money to do such and such. The one where the guy walked up saying, I'll pay you some money, cash, to do such and such, that's when I had both my camera glasses and my audio recorder going. I have yet to even bother going through the footage trying to see if I can find it. So I wonder what people would think if I posted a video like that. Because remember what that security guard did? That happened during the morning after the day that dude walked up to that counter and said that. I wonder what people would think if I was, if I actually do got that video, if I was to post it. What would they think? I'm gonna tell you what they would think. They would say that dude clearly was hired to pay them mofos off to act out, to basically harass you. It's a crazy world we're living in, man. There's just corruption every corner you look at. And you want to know what's really retarded? People work for the same damn organization. I don't care where this money's coming from, but you see, it's the damn deception. Anybody who's just walking up to you, offering you to, to pay you some money just to screw with somebody like that, that's the system. Anybody, paying you some money to basically drug somebody or sabotage something, that's the system. The same system that fucked up the structural equilibrium of everything, to where it's making harder for you to make ends meet. It's making you harder, it's making things a lot harder to basically earn a living. You're buying, when you basically accept that money, you're buying into a system that's basically designed to destroy both your life and everybody else's. And this has been proven without a shadow of a doubt when all of these bullshit mandates got put out, with all of this corruption and stuff that started to happen. When people buy into the system and actually the government is doing something good for them, like it's, government is good, you, sir or madam, you are living in a fantasy land. The government does not give a damn about anybody but itself. They don't give a damn about you or me. They don't care about the people they illegally experiment on. They don't care about the people who they traffic. They don't care about the people they kill. They don't care about the people who get killed by by their actions of either sabotage or something that they seek to destroy. That situation with Lebanon, I think that shit was planned, dude. I really do. Or maybe it wasn't planned. Maybe it was planned, but that not for that designated location. Who knows? Who knows? But think about it. After the events of, remember the events of 9/11, on what they used that for? And I'm telling you, the same system that comes up with these solutions is the same system that created the problem in the first place. Don't buy into these bogus ass solutions that the government comes up with, because if there's a problem that they're trying to seek to fix, they were the ones who caused that problem to begin with. I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. It's like almost 10 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a night on this. As always, stay safe, stay strong.